Excitement more than anything. I don't think anybody has more pressure. I feel anybody's pressure than my own pressure that I put on myself. But just excitement. I've been preparing for this opportunity for a long time. Played football under Coach Sweeney at Clemson and was in the NFL with the Steelers and the Chiefs long enough to have a cup of coffee. And for the past 5 years, I've been in the Brent Venables School of Defense and was coached by a couple of legends, and Chris Rump and Dan Brooks. I got to work very closely with Todd Bates. And, my first year, I had to learn what the heck Coach V was just saying as a support staff person. And then by year, 3, I had a pretty good grasp of the defense. And by year 4, I felt like a lion in a cage. I was ready to go. So I turned down some job opportunities and was patient. And had great counsel, man, from Coach Sweeney and other people in my life that said, man, that's not the one, just wait. That's not the one, just wait. And it was God's perfect timing, And so when Coach V said, will you go with me, it didn't take me long to say yes. And so the transition's been great. We love Norman. I have a wife of 10 years, June 29th. We have 4 kids, 6 and under, so please pray for us. But man, we've been really pleasantly surprised. The only thing I knew about Oklahoma was that they won a lot of games and everything Coach V said about them. And so we came out here just with excitement, ready to get going. But it's been great so far. Thanks, Bob.
You'll go to Eric Bailey, Tulsa World.
Coach, it's nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
You mentioned about just waiting, turning down jobs and such. What was your first reaction when Coach Venables offered you this opportunity? What was your mind like? How was your mind racing?
Yeah, I don't know if my mind was racing, but once again, it was something that Coach V. If you get to spend any time around Coach V, you'll realize how unique of a person he is, and so it was very humbling, that the head football coach at the University of Oklahoma would ask me to come be a position coach for him, and so I would just say humbling. The moment more surreal than anything else, and but it's very humbling, and I'm so thankful. But man, I got a lot of work to do, and so the job and the expectations and the standard. I've known it for 5 years. So just because I'll be wearing crimson and cream doesn't mean that the standard's any higher or lower. Working for Coach V is very, very demanding, but man, it is so fulfilling. He just makes everybody around him so much better. And so I don't know if my mind was racing as much as I was just kind of humbled and affirming. It was affirming.
You've been around for a while. How important will the give back, Coach V, for him?
I don't know. So Coach Adam Smotherman, he's now the head strength and conditioning coach at the University of Virginia, who went with Tony Elliott, and he did a great job on the sidelines. And I'm excited. Me and Coach Bates talked about, I wonder what he's going to do now that he's the head coach. So time will tell.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Eric, thank you.
Yeah, Miguel, good to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Ryan.
I want to ask you about a couple other guys that
Yeah.
you were with out of Clemson. You touched on Todd Bates there, but just what really stands out to you about him? What's it been like working with him in a little bit different way here? And then also want to ask you about that term seat.
Yeah.
What he meant to what y'all built out there. And,
Yeah.
The importance of some of the stuff that he's
Yeah, great question. Thanks. Todd and I started together working at Clemson, and my first meeting. So we won the national championship at Clemson when we were there, 2016, and I was just a fan at that point. You know what I mean? And Coach Sweeney calls me, and I'm thinking that we're about to talk junk and celebrate, and he goes, "Hey, I want you to come work for me." And so they lost a couple of defensive line coaches. And so when I came in, Coach Bates came in as well. And our first day, I'll never forget it, started there the same. But it was just, man, the Lord just put on my heart to tell him the first day, I want to make you the best defensive tackles coach in the country. That was my job as a player development off the field coach. And so, man, we have a very, very special bond, friendship. It's very unique. And they started calling us salt and pepper. And just from our families doing life together to going to church together to recruiting together to I understand Todd. I get the creature that he is and vice versa. And we are similar in a lot of ways, and we complement each other in other ways. And so when Coach V got the opportunity to become the head coach, and he offered me the job, and I was like, man, there's no way. I was like, man, there's no way. But knowing Coach V, he got Coach Bates, and so the fire will come, the bullets will start flying, and we'll see if everybody loves each other then. But so far, man, it's just been everything that we talked about. We talked about this, like, man, what if one day we can actually coach together as DNs and defensive tackles coach? And so to see in God's kindness that we can do it now, it's been amazing, very fulfilling. And then Thad Turnipseed, he's a boss. He's a dude. And in our business, that means somebody's a baller. They're a dude, all caps. And so Thad is a program builder. And he's just a great father, great husband, great mentor to me when I was at Clemson. But Thad gets things done. And so I don't know that Coach Bates should probably come up with an acronym for Thad that talks about him being a boss. But he's just a very pivotal part of our program. And for me and my wife and our children, it's been a huge blessing to have some familiar faces around.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
On this side, I'll go to Jesse Crittenden, forward transfer.
Hey, Jesse.
Let's get to talking to you now.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to ask you were at Clemson for so long. Just how familiar were you with Oklahoma, and what excited you about coming here?
Yeah.
Just outside of all that?
No, great question, Jesse. Once again, so I'm a fan of college football, right? And I'm a coach. Yeah, I play, but I'm a fan, man. I love the game, and it's a developmental game. And I appreciate and enjoy and respect what they do in the NFL, man. But I think there's something that's very, very unique about 18 to 22-year-olds being able to use the game to invest and mold them. And so, with that being said, I watched and understood the landscape of college football. And when I thought about the top of college football, that first tier, man, I couldn't think about it without thinking about Oklahoma. You're talking about one of 5 teams that have won 100-plus games in the past 10 years. One of 4 teams that have been to 4 CFPs or more since the inception of the college football playoff. And so, regardless of what anybody thought, or my ignorance of maybe the location or the place, like we're literally in the middle of everywhere. Like everybody's a national recruit for us. Like everybody. You know what I mean? And but I knew that, man, you had the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, and the Ohio States. Okay? And Georgia's really, really good too. And so that's what I knew about it. Does that answer your question? Did you ask me something else?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And the brand, and they were Jordan. I knew that as well. Super dope.
Right side, Ryan Chavis with SI Sooners.
Hey, we go.
Tell me your name again. Rye?
Yeah, there's two Ryans.
Okay, sorry, Ryan. Thanks.
You talked about linked up with Coach Bates, but that came a little bit later. You got to hit the recruiting trail with just you for a period of time.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you to kind of get turned loose on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, amazing.
Brent Venables and you?
Yeah, awesome. Like, I felt like I was cheating in life. Like even right now, man, being up here, like, this is unbelievable. You know what I mean? And just because it doesn't feel like work. It's what I love doing. I think recruiting, when it comes down to it, is really about relationship building and connecting. I think it's about authenticity. And I think you have to do a good job of, if you want to do it this way, the way that I'm talking about, that you have to be okay with not getting a guy that you don't fit, or that he doesn't fit your institution or your program. And so, but fundamentally, I think recruiting is connecting. And so, man, I've just been very, very blessed to have people in my life to show me and teach me how to connect with people. And I care about people. I love people. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, got here and got all cleared by compliance and all the rest. And they threw me an OU shirt on and some Jordans, and I went on the road. And I think I texted my wife and took pictures of everything. But it was amazing. We were able to get Alton Tarber. Can't wait to get him from Deerfield Beach. R. Mason Thomas. And Ahmad Moten, we almost got him from Cardinal Gibbons. Great program, Coach Dubach running there at Cardinal Gibbons. And so it was awesome. Love it.
Okay, let's go to Brandon Drum. Sorry.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Brandon.
Coach Mason, you just kind of said it just a second ago. Every word's intentional for you. You're about relationships. Have you gotten a chance to, start? Obviously, you have, but Can you kind of talk about your relationships with the players in your positions?
Yeah.
The Downs of the world,
Yeah.
the Stricklings, all that type of the guys that you're going to be coaching week in and week out, and just how you've gone about building those relationships.
Yeah, that's a great question, Brandon. Thank you. More than the content of what we talk about, I will tell you this. So I did pastoral ministry. I was a youth minister and a college minister for 3 years after the NFL before I started coaching. I was a support staffer for Clemson. And the best CEOs of companies, the best pastors, the best leaders of families, the best men and women I've ever been around are those people who can connect and love the people that they serve, period. And so, my first week here, within the first week or so, just like taking my guys out to dinner, you know what I mean, and like not talking football. And listen, I coach for Brent Venables. We're gonna have more than enough time to talk football. All right, our guys gonna know what the heck they have to do. But and then investing in them, man. Making phone calls. That's one thing we did. Calling them all personally, asking them about their mom, their dad, little Susie. They've been dating for 2 weeks. Now they're Facebook official for 2 weeks. Okay, I'll be asking about another one here soon. And but just what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your fears? What are your aspirations? I think all of these things are super, super important. Where when I was coming up, if a coach, you just kind of like, oh, you're the leader. Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, you're the elder. Okay, I'll follow you. Go run through the wall. Okay, I'll do that. That's not this generation. They need to know that you care. They need to know their identity. And they want to know that you love them. And if you love your players, you can coach them as hard as you want to. And so, but just being very, very connected with them, send them encouraging messages almost every morning, things that are, whether it's things from Scripture, things that are motivational or encouraging to me, and then just being able to take the time out to not talk ball all the time. And understanding and learning the different types of personalities. There's so many different personality tests, and I think, man, it's like psychology. I seriously, I think a great football coach is like 50% a great psychologist. And understanding that you just like parenting, you can't treat all kids the same. And so different coaching techniques and they all learn differently. And so, but I think being intentional with your words, I think getting to know parents, getting to know players, their likes and dislikes, their fears and aspirations, makes them a lot more likely to trust you and to be endeared to you and to play hard for you. The guys that I've seen that played the hardest for their coaches are the guys that would literally die and lay their life on the line for their coaches because they know their coach loves them and would do the same. And so that's a great question, Brandon.
Let's go to the far side of the table. John Shin.
Hey, John.
The question I want to ask you is you're a guy who rose up through the support staff at Clemson.
Yeah.
Working as support staff at Clemson. And how bigger and how much more, how important that's gotten as far as rising up the ranks than say when you played.
Yeah.
A lot of those jobs didn't exist.
Yeah. I think those jobs are huge. I'm not in the on the NCAA legislation committee, so I'm sure you guys don't care about my thoughts. But I think the NFL does have a good system though about having you get an assistant coach for every position coach. I mean we can't talk about player mental health and player safety and player well-being and not realize that, man, like coaching football's hard and it's time consuming, but the most important thing on the X's and O's, we know our job. I know why I get paid. I know why I'm here in front of you talking. But if we're going to talk about it being really about the players, you got to have a solid staff. You got to have an army of a staff. And so those positions are very, very important. I was an off the field support staff coach who didn't break the rules, who followed the NCAA rules when it comes to what you can and cannot do. And man, I was greatly helped. And I wouldn't be here without those 5 years at Clemson. And so those roles are very, very important. How do you create equity across college football? How do you create a landscape that you can actually govern if you're the NCAA? I don't know. Maybe you could figure that out, John. But that position is so vital. It's going to be vital for us here at Oklahoma.
How much did you learn? I assume the goal was always to advance on-field coach and so on and so on. How much did you learn in that, off-the-field coach?
Yeah, so, what was great that we did in the summertime as well, and so I actually had the chance to, even though I was a support staff coach, I got to coach during the summer, during summer camps. And then a dear friend of mine, the defensive ends coach at Clemson, he was out for personal reasons. And last year, and I got to be on the field coach. I got to coach for 2 weeks. And so I think that probably gave BV all the peace he needed, getting to see it live and in action. But yeah, you learn a lot. I mean, everything that I learned knowledge-wise, just because you can't be on the field doesn't mean you can't understand and learn the defense. You can't understand and learn philosophy or technique. Your ability to get young men to do the job you're asking them to do, well, that's a whole nother part of it. But the knowledge part, you can be a support staffer and learn almost everything you need to learn.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.